Hello people, this is my 34-week update. So I normally do these updates bi-weekly, but so much happened after I posted my 33-week update last week. I thought I was going to do another update video, but then I was like, I'll just wait a week, no big deal. It was crazy. Okay, so I don't even know where to start. So I was 33 weeks. I had an appointment like the day before I turned 33 weeks. So I got a call the next day when they got my blood results back, and the nurse was like, listen, your iron is super low. And a few weeks ago, like at my previous appointment, so 4 weeks prior to 33 weeks, whatever week that is, you can do the math. I spoke to the doctor about how I was kind of feeling tired, and she looked at my iron levels, and she said I was at a 10.4, which is borderline low, but not like, I guess anything under 10 is like, ugh. But anywhere from like 10, 11 is good. Anyway, so my nurse called me. She said I dropped significantly, I guess. I'm at a 9.7, I think she said. So she recommended that I finally give in and get an iron supplement. So I did that, and I've been feeling better, a little more energy, obviously, a little more iron. So I guess all of the spinach I was eating morning, noon, and night wasn't enough for my body. I also have something called like microcytic anemia. I thought I grew out of it. Maybe I didn't, I don't know. And I know like in your third trimester of pregnancy, it's not uncommon for women to have low iron. Anyway, long story. So I got the like slow release iron capsules, tablets, whatever they're called, vitamins. So I've been taking those. Anyway, so that night, after I got the call about my iron, that night I was in a meeting, and so I was sitting down for a while, probably like 45 minutes, and when I stood up, I felt like a little gush down there, you know? So I was like, oh my gosh, is that amniotic fluid, or am I like peeing myself? What's going on? I thought it might just be discharge, no big deal. Anyway, so I get home and I check it out, and it's super clear, so it's not discharge. And I thought my urine would at least have some kind of color. So I put on a pad and I waited like 30 minutes. I tried to rest as much as I could for 30 minutes. I think I only lasted like 15 or 20 minutes. Anyway, so when I stood back up, I was reading that if you feel a gush again, it might be amniotic fluid. So that happened. I felt a little gush, and it was colorless, odorless, and I was like, okay, maybe this is amniotic fluid. So I just kept an eye on it through the night. When I woke up the next morning, there wasn't like a huge gush or anything, but I thought, you know what, let me call my doctor, let me see what she has to say. So I called my OB, my nurse, and the nurse on call, and she was like, you know what, let's just bring you in, check you out, you know your body, it's your third baby, it might be urine, you might be peeing your pants, but better safe to know that it's not amniotic fluid. You like better safe than sorry. So anyway, we went in, I brought my daughter with me. So the doctor tested and did the whole checkup, and turns out it's not amniotic fluid. Thumbs up for that, but like thumbs down for the fact that I'm like, I guess peeing myself. I don't know. It hasn't happened since. Maybe I just drank like a ton of water that day and just couldn't hold my own bladder. I don't know. I feel like I'm getting so old, and like, I know it's my third baby, but like, I do my kegels. You know what I mean? I didn't think that was an issue. Anyway, so that was super embarrassing for the doctor to be like, hey, it's not amniotic fluid. But when he was doing the checkup, he was measuring my belly and was like, you're measuring really small. And I was like, really? Because I just had an appointment a couple of days ago, and they said everything was okay. And he goes, yeah, you're measuring at like 30 weeks. So he suggested that I get an ultrasound to just make sure that A, I wasn't losing amniotic fluid, and B, that the baby was measuring, up to size. So I got the ultrasound, and I will insert like a picture because of course my ultrasound tech like gives me a book full of pictures. And so turns out the baby's measuring fine. The baby was measuring like 4.4 pounds 5 ounces, which was on point for a 33-week baby. But I was measuring so small because of the way the baby was positioned. Turns out that baby was breech that day, and at my appointment a couple days prior, the doctor was feeling around and was pretty confident that the baby was head down. And I was confident too because I was feeling hiccups very, very low. So I was like, okay, yes, baby's not breech. But then 2 days later, had an ultrasound, baby's breech, head's up here, feet are like crossed at the bottom of my belly. And so I was like, this friggin' punk of a baby is already causing trouble. And I know the babies can turn up until like 36 weeks is what I was reading / told, that's like the worry zone, and when I should really start like doing some headstands and laying with my feet up and doing all the exercises that you do when you have a breech baby that late. And I've heard stories like women have been telling me, oh my gosh, my baby was breech, and then 2 days before I delivered, like the baby turned. So you never know, but it's a little worrisome, especially for someone who wants to have a natural delivery, to have a breech baby. And since then, so it's been a week since my ultrasound, since then I have been feeling hiccups all over the place. Like on the right side of my belly, breech. Left side of my belly, friggin' breech. And when I feel them low, I'm like, yes, please stay head down. But the baby just keeps like rotating. Like, can you please just pick a spot and like stay there so I can ease my mind? Anyway, so hopefully, I mean, it's a good thing that the baby has enough room to groove in there. My belly is definitely big enough. Which brings me to my next point, I think. I'm trying to read my notes. My chicken scratch down here. Oh, which brings me to weight gain, which I didn't weigh myself. I guess I could do that right now for you. Let me go do that. Okay, so I just weighed myself. You're welcome. I am up 33 pounds. I don't remember what I was last week when I told you guys. I don't like to keep track of that stuff. It just messes with my head. Surprisingly, I have not been to the gym at all this past week. I can tell you a whole bunch of excuses, but really I just haven't gone. Sometimes life just happens and you don't have time for certain things, even though you should make time to go. Anyway, I'm planning on going tomorrow, so don't worry about it. What else? Oh, I can barely like see the numbers on the scale. I have to like lean forward because my belly is so big. I am feeling very puffy lately, especially in my face and of course all over the rest of my body. Like my arms too. I feel like my arms just retaining all this water, I guess. And my feet have been swollen. Like, what is that already? Yeah, and mostly just my left foot, more so than my right. So I don't know if I like tend to lean on my left foot more for that to be more swollen. But it's annoying, and it's just like, really, like, can you not be so swollen? And I also feel like I have been eating a lot of burritos, which are pretty salty, / tacos. Anyway, that's like my #1 craving. So I feel like maybe I'm just eating too much salt, so I'm gonna try to bump that down. I've been having Braxton Hicks contractions. Obviously, those aren't letting up. I feel like they're getting more progressive, which is whatever. Oh. And the last thing I have to update you on is I feel kind of overwhelmed because I feel like there's a lot to do, and I also feel like 34 weeks is the point in the pregnancy where I start to get like it's coming down to the wire, and especially because I'm so huge, people are constantly like, oh, are you due any day now? Oh, are you due next week? Like, are you past your due date? Yes, I've gotten that as well. And I'm just like, no, I still have like a month and a half, which for me, I'm like, month and a half, no big deal. But then the days go by so fast and the weeks go by, and I'm like, where has the time gone? Because I have so much to do. I need to do the freezer meals for my postpartum prep, and I need to pack my hospital bag. I need to make big sister gifts and nurse gifts and my photographer gifts and babysitter gifts and all these gifts and everything that I feel like I need to prep, you know, before the baby comes. And I also have my daughter's birthday party to plan, and then Halloween, of course, is coming up, and I feel like there's a lot involved in that. I finally finished everyone's costume, almost. I still have to make sloth arms for my husband. We're being Zootopia characters, if you didn't know. Anyway, so yeah, I just feel like there's so much to do, and with me being like tired / lazy / feel like not wanting to do anything, it's a lot, but I'm getting it done one thing at a time. That's my mantra, one thing at a time. That's what I always tell myself, and I tell my kids too when they're like, da, 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 do this, do this, do this. I'm like, listen, one thing at a time. That's what I can handle. I would like to think that I'm a good multitasker, and I am with certain things, but yeah, I need to focus and just do one thing at a time, and everything will get done when it needs to. Hopefully. Right? Hopefully. Anyway, that is my update for this week. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye. They look pretty decent once you put the eyeballs on. Some of them I had trouble with the chocolate, but yeah, for the most part, whatever. They taste awesome. Buckeyes are great.